Good morning. Welcome to our first Hsing Chuan program for the month of December. Last time we got together, way back in November, we were just looking at the last couple movements of the pass that completes our set. Like we were saying, it's not a long set. It's an introductory linking form, giving a place to play from just working consistent patterns to changing patterns from one movement to another. Let's get ourselves started up today because we're going to look at how to turn around and how to create an infinity loop of just continually refining this set. So starting out, we'll get those feet in the ground and just let the head rise and fall. And again. And looking from side to side. And ear from shoulder to shoulder. A couple quick circles in the front. Good. And let's warm up our shoulders. We can roll them back. And we can roll them forward. Arms can circle one way and around the other. We're going to reach up and hang to one side and to the other. Let's let our arms go nice and loose, get some warmth in the spine and the trunk. And then we'll warm up the hips a little bit around one way and around the other. And then some hip circles from the inside to the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From the outside to the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Up to the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then to the chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit of counter rotation with the waist. So we're going to reach touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Get feet together. Roll the knees one way and the other. And then just a quick stretch down. Wake up those hamstrings a little. And we can come on up from the ground. Okay, so let's get ourselves started today with a little bit of leg work. Let's go through some of our leg patterns that we have inside the set. So we have our push through. And why don't we combine that today, as we've been working on this, why don't we combine that as part of our warm-up and just do a little bit of wood fist. So we're going to go push, punch, push, punch. Good. Turning and work your other leg for a little while. We'll go for about another 20 seconds or so here. Get that sense of thrust, not leaning, not shifting, but driving through the ground. And all the pressure that you're putting through the ground wants to exit through the knuckles for the punch. So the power of that punch is not just swinging the arm. It's as much thrust as you can apply to the ground, translated into the fist. Our second variation on that wood fist, the one we're using near the end of the pass of the set, was that stepping up and then driving out. So we go 1 and 2. So we're driving and pushing through. Good. We're stepping up, driving out. Let's go for a little bit longer, a couple more. Again, we're kind of sinking. In this case, we're thrusting and settling at the same time. Boom. And then we've got this driving, advancing thrust for the lead arm. So we slip in with the rear arm and pound and drive with the rear arm. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Last one. Boom and press. Okay, let's shift over to working on getting our legs strengthened up. Be careful with the knees. Let's work a little bit of dragon work here. So we are gathering, stomping, and driving down to squat. Come up, stomp, and squat. Strike and down. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Gather, press down, step through, drive in. So we're lifting, we're opening up the ribs, we're coiling through that front arm, and then pounding down. Gather, lift, and drive. Good. We'll go another few seconds here. Down to squat, down to squat, driving through and squatting in. Such a great bit of work. Really focus on your glutes supporting the rising motion. Push out of the bum, settle, and strike down. Okay, keep going with our warm-ups. Let's do a little bit of Phoenix this morning. So here we're coming under, we're tearing through, we're driving in with the knee, we're settling, we're opening the chest, and then pounding in with the double punch. Scoop through, tear open, and punch. Good. Couple more. Last little bit. I'm gonna fall over my own shoelace. Okay, continuing on some of our linking animals and elements that are inside of the set. Let's take a bit of a walk with our earth fist today. So we've got the crossing lead arm, that pounding. We have the scooping and crossing through and driving out. And we're landing in that forward weighted position. And then we get a brief kind of shift of weight as we open that foot and cross over, and then come through on the other side. A couple more. Yeah, last ones. Okay, we'll do one more warm-up technique here. Why don't we take a little bit from our bear eagle to finish up. So this is where we had that pounding palm, boom. And then what we're seeing in the set, that roll back and stepping in with the uppercut. So we're stepping through, pounding down, uppercut. Step through, pound down, and uppercut. 1 and under, 2, up, drive, from underneath. Let's do one last little bit of that. Get that feeling, that roll, that scoop, that driving uppercut. Yeah. Pound down, sink in, thrust from the ground for your uppercut. Drive through. Last ones, down. Come in, down and up. Last one, down and in. Okay, shake that all out. That should get the blood moving and the brain connecting with the body. Let's jump into a little bit of the Chuan exercises that we've been using to help fill up some of our Hsing Chuan. And two that we've been using. One, we've been connecting with the Earth Fist. It's one of our themes in the set, where we had that with the two hands. We were parting, we're sinking, and we're driving in with the push. So we're going open, settle, push to come forward. So I'm rolling my weight back, and then I'm pushing out from the ground. This is a great place to really work on some of that feeling of thrusting the leg against the ground to create motion. I push from the back leg to come forwards. I push from the front leg to come backwards. You know, if we want to think about our sort of some toy movement from here, you could also think, oh, shuffle in to get that push. So we roll and push. Let's try that with the other leg forward a couple times. So we open, settle, and push through. Roll and open, settle, and push. Couple more. This time, let's take a bit of a shuffle. Roll and push through. Roll and push through. Now, two hands together, that's pretty good. But what we really want to get is the individualizing of the two hands while keeping those kind of parallel ovals that we're running in the front of the body. So as we roll back, we're hitting with the front arm. Then that front arm is going to kind of cap. And these are kind of parries and shifts. And then we can come through with the other hand and cap and shift. So we're rolling front and back, front and back. Couple more. Good. Let's shift up. Let's put the other leg forward. So we're coming through the center, rolling open, drawing back, pressing out. And this is an interesting play. One of the things I like about these drills is this constant work on shifting our weight from one leg to the other. Because what a lot of people struggle with is the idea that I can hit with my front arm while fading my body to load up the back leg and the back arm. A lot of times we kind of stay there and we want to reach as opposed to shifting and shifting, shifting and shifting. Okay, let's leave that for now. Let's jump into a couple more, one more foundation from the Chuan system for today. We won't do a couple, let's do one. And let's do that one that's linking up to our uppercut, that bear eagle kind of rolling and driving. But we also want to get a sense of being able to throw those uppercuts off of either arm. So we've got this nice, I sort of call it a U stroke to this, where we're going down, and then we're going to wedge up with the one arm and hit with the other. So we're going to think about this idea of kind of drop into the hip, pop out of the hip, and settle in the back leg. Drop into the back leg, pop through to the front. So we roll 1 and 2. So we're trying to get that thrust through the ground, that rotation on the ball of the foot as we roll in to hit with the one side. Drop, plant the front foot, rotate in with the back foot. Let's switch up the legs. Other side. So we're going up from the back leg, drop in the front, rotate to the back, rotate to the front and back. Punch again is trying to deliver the thrust against the ground. Push into the ground. Don't swing the arm. Push the ground through to your knuckles. Push the ground, direct the ground through your knuckles. Good. Okay. Come on up from there. Let's do a little bit of review on our last pieces of the pass of the set, and then we're going to talk about the turnaround today. And the turnaround is going to connect that opening movement Qigong with the kind of metal fist at the beginning. It's going to take on the dragon and the dragon posture, and we're going to do an inside turnaround. Let's get to that in a second. Let's work on our last little bit of the pass of the set. So in our sequence, we worked on our diagonals a lot for a few lessons. So we had stepped back, we'd done an earth fist, we had stepped back, we'd done 1 and 2. And so last piece of our sequence was that we rolled back, we threw that bear eagle uppercut. We then were scooping through like metal, but we used the dragon kick and downwards palm. And that's where, as we stepped out, we shuffled in, right fist, pressed out, left fist. I'm going to do that from this direction a couple times. I'm going to do it from the other direction a couple times. So we've gotten to our last of those earth fists. 1, 2. That means our weight is in the right leg, our right arm is forward, our left leg is light, and our left hand is pressed down by the dantian. Here, we're going to circulate back, dig into the hip, open up through the body, and press up for our uppercut. We're going to circulate that left hand through. We're going to kick. We're going to settle, and we're going to pound downwards like the dragon. Then as we step through, we're going to thrust out of that back leg and shuffle it up, and then press out of that leg and drive our lead arm. One more time from this side. So I've got earth fist, weight in the right leg, settle in that right leg, uppercut. Slide in that left arm, kick and dragon down, come up, shuffle in, right fist hits, press out, left fist. Okay, let's just switch it. I'm not going to switch the techniques. I'm just switching angles because sometimes it gives you different things to see when we're working on our two-dimensional screens. So we have our 1, 2. So we've got those inside uppercuts potentially from the earth fist. Inside, inside. And then we get this rolling outside uppercut from bear eagle. Then we get our stomp kick and downwards palm and pull. Rending is one of the ways to think of it. Imagine you've got something, you've got to tear it. You've got to pull it front and back. Now, we're winding up that back fist. We're pressing through, and as we press, we're also going to shuffle in. So we're pushing, catching up, pushing out with the lead arm. Earth fist, earth fist. Roll back. Bear eagle. Dragon. Wood fist variation. Pound. Push through. Last time. So I've got my earth, and I've ended up 1 and 2. I've ended up with my right leg weighted. I'm sinking into that. I'm rolling that back. I'm driving that uppercut. I'm kicking through, settling down. Now this is winding up here. We're cooking that fist. We're going to pull it back. See how as I pull it back, watch the relationship in my left hand. I'm pressing, I'm pulling. Those two are related through the rotation of the spine. And now I'm going to drive. I'm going to get my weight off and into my right foot so I can push and catch up and then drive through. Good. So now we have to link that so we can head back in the other direction. We had a Qigong exercise we were talking about at the beginning, and this gets used, these turnarounds get used when you're doing your animals and your elements as a way to turn the direction and change. We've been just kind of turning with the elements as our warm-ups, but there's also this capacity for using this dragon turn. Now, we had, at the beginning of the set, we went 1, drip down, we opened up, we had that kind of idea of energy up the spine, compress that down the center, we put the weight into the right leg, we spiraled out the right arm, we spiraled in and condensed with the left, and then we stepped out with the left, and we had our opening. Sitting in some toy, left hand out, palm down, metal fist position. So we're going to use that same concept, but we need to turn around and we need to add a dragon kick, and the directional palm, instead of being forward like metal, will be the downwards motion of dragon. What we need to also learn, if you haven't done this before, is how to do an inside turnaround. So an inside turnaround is based on being able to weight one leg and point the toes of the other one inwards. Now we've got 2 pivot points. I could pivot on my heel. I could pivot on the ball. Notice that those accomplish 2 different things. When I pivot on my heel, I'm actually tightening up my stance. When I pivot on the ball of my foot, I'm opening up my stance. Take it or leave it. That's just kind of how it works when you're making these turns. If I turn on the heel, that's my pivot point. Things are getting tighter. If I lift up and I pivot on the ball, things are getting more open. I tend to settle back. If I turn on the heel, I tend to be coming in. If I turn on the ball, I'm settling my weight back a little bit. When we're talking about a 180-degree turn, we need to first look at 90s. So our 90-degree turn would be both toes facing forward. We're going to pivot on the ball of the foot. We're going to sit back, unweight the other foot, and now we've made a 90-degree turn. So I take the weight out of my left leg, I pivot that left foot in. As I weight that leg, the natural tendency is to turn in the direction of that weight-bearing foot. So we could just go turn in, settle, we're facing one way, turn in, settle, we're facing the other. Now, what happens when we want to do 180? Nothing changes too much, but we got to get that extra turn, that extra degrees of exchange. So now we're going to roll back, and here's where we can start to play between the heel and the ball. So it's hard to get this pigeon-toed position, but that's what we're looking to kind of create, where my feet, if I'm facing here in a forward stance and my back foot's got a bit of an angle, because it does when I'm working my Hsing, when I turn in, my feet are kind of inwards, toed in. And then as I shift, I'm now facing 180. Now, I can do this a few ways. I can roll first on the heel and then I can pick up and roll on the ball. And this kind of helps with alleviating that pressure of trying to turn into that pigeon toed and get that range of motion in the hip to make that happen. So I can shift heel, ball, and see how it started bringing me backwards. So Sifu would talk about this idea of as I turn, it's like you're sucking everything in towards your body so you can move back out again. We can also get a little bit of a kind of step around. So instead of thinking heel and ball, I'm going to do like a little, if you think about a soccer kind of snubbing kind of kick with the toe, I can snub that in, and then I can sit back. So we could go from a forward position here. I have to weight the back leg, snub in the front, and then turn around so it's the back leg. So we can go turn in, push out. So you can work either of those. You could think of it all just on the ball of the foot. You could do a heel ball. You could do a snub turn. So for about 20 seconds or so here, let's just turn around one way and turn around the other. Turn around one way. Now you'll notice that we tend to move back. So if I'm kind of lined up with my wall hanging here and I shift in, I kind of weight in, but when I turn around, notice how I've moved away from that. If there was somebody who is behind me, this is a way of both turning and creating some space while creating potential. So what do we want to do? We want to turn around, we want to stomp kick that person. So we want to get a heel stomping technique in there as we turn. So we're going to go from our wood fist here, we're going to turn in, we're going to pull this leg in. So it's going to spiral in, it's going to lift up, and it's going to kick out and settle to our dragon stance. One, two, three, four, five. Good. Now we're going to mostly do this in the set. We're going to do this with the left leg forward. So let's stay that way for now. We can do a right leg turn another time because I'm noticing we're pretty much out of time. So roll back, shift in, sink back, spiral that foot inwards, kick, settle, open up the foot, sink down in the hip. One more time with just the legs. So we've gone left leg forward. We go 1, down and in, 2, spiral, and kick and settle. I'll do that facing the other direction a couple of times. So I go roll back, turn in, spiral, draw, kick, squat. Roll back, turn in, draw in, kick, and settle. Okay, now I can hear from the live studio audience, well, what about the arms? What am I going to do with these things? We're going to do that same brush, settle, coil, and palm, but instead of going forward, we're going to go down with the dragon technique. So I'll start here. I've got my left fist out. So as I roll back and turn in, I'm going to brush. As I open up the arms, I'm going to settle down into my right leg. I'm going to draw in with that right arm. It's going to spiral as I spiral. So both the arm and the foot are kind of spiraling. I'm going to kick. I'm going to engage here at my elbow with my left hand, and I'm going to rend and press down into that dragon position. So I've got my punch, brush, turn, settle, gather, leg and arm. So we're coming through. By the time I kick, I want my left hand to be inside of my right elbow. And then as I settle, I'm going to pull those two apart. Boom. So the timing is just like in the dragon, kick and then palm, but we're spiraling around. One more time from this direction, and I'm going to have to let it go for today. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try it the other way so you can see it one last time. I've done my left wood fist, brush, settle, gather, kick, and palm. Okay, we're gonna have to leave it there today, and we will start linking things up next week. So thanks for training. If you're here and you've got some questions on the material, let's take those. If you're catching it off of the YouTube archive and you want some details, give me an email and I will bring it into the class for you. Thanks for training today.